Smart 24, driving business.
Yes, welcome back from that short break. Of course, we are still on Smart Means Business, and it is that time for Business Insight. Of course, today we're talking about how social media has been a tool for market research. And of course, anyone there who is doing online business, the social media influencers, the TV stations that are out there, you see most of the people are using social media to actually market whatever they have. But of course, I have two guests with me here in studio, and they're going to be giving us more insight on how social media is actually helping Uganda to actually go forward with the marketing of their goods on social media. How is it helping the country economically, physically, and in any other way? Good morning to you guys. How are you?
Good morning to you, Shalom.
Yes. So can you say hi to the viewers and introduce yourself?
Yeah, so good morning, viewers. I am Alex Msisi. I am a creative director of Achievement Uganda. We deal with making animation and adverts and things like that. And I'm also a lecturer at Victoria University, Department of Animation and Visual Effects. Yes, so I'm glad to be here.
Okay.
Yes.
And?
Good morning, viewers. My name is Benjamin Aguma Ernest, aka Benji. I'm a social media influencer, and I'm also a statistician, economist, projects, anything to do with that. Yeah, happy to be here.
Thank you for joining us in the studio. And of course, one of the reasons I asked you guys to join us here today is to tell us more about social media. But we wanted to know, what are some of the common methods or techniques that are used for conducting mostly with the social media platform?
Maybe Mitch wants to go with that.
Well, social media is broad, and we have a lot of techniques, varying from the traditional ones, but then traditional ones have been obsolete, and that's why you have social media, that in market research especially, because of it gives you very fast results and what. But firstly, if you actually, one of the methods that most brands use on social media, especially on Twitter and Instagram, are polls, because they really want to seek feedback from their customers or their yet to be customers. So they seek opinions and polls. So that is one of it. Then the other one, they could use they have the analytics, because these are, if you want to seek for qualitative data, you could use analytics. Or like on Twitter, you could see how many people have seen your tweet, how many people have retweeted the tweet, how many people have commented, how many likes does the tweet have, what is the reach. Like they see how many eyeballs have seen this kind of tweet, so that you know how far your tweets are reaching. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe in addition to that, Benjamin, you find that we are in the age of big data. So you find social media, these are platforms where you collect data in real time. So the data tends to arise very fast, and it's a lot. So everybody's discussing and giving their opinions. So companies tend to use this mostly by applying data analytics sort of tools and methods to make sense of that information, to see the trends, to spot preferences and things like that. So in this age of big data, you find that data scientists are now data science is becoming a department in almost every company. So they are ever analyzing data and finding out meaning. What does this data mean? What does it, what are people feeling? What are the trends? What are the preferences? So it is going scientific now in order to make it sensible, because data is a lot. Like every second we are generating information and data. So yes.
Okay, speaking of analytics, for a viewer who is watching right now, what is analytics? how can you make it easier for a viewer right now who is there and doesn't even know what analytics
So
is?
maybe I'll first give a crack at it. So data analytics these are just mathematical methods which can be incorporated in social media platforms, which already actually are incorporated because those platforms like Facebook and YouTube and as long as the platform has a space of interaction and it has real-time data collection methods, that does not, sometimes it's like noise. So for you to be able to filter it and make sense of it, you need to apply mathematical logarithms which are already involved in which are already embedded in those social media platforms. So when you go on your Facebook, there is a section actually where you can look at the schematics and see who's watching what, and are you progressing? Is the advert working or not working? How many clicks? Those are called data analytics. So they just kind of make the information a bit easy to understand.
So social media is not about just standing and taking a photo. You have to make sure
not for a business person, not for a business person.
Because, as we said, social media actually brings a lot of brands together. And that means that there is a lot of competition. So how do you know that you're actually doing well out there? You have to look at how far your tweets, how far your posts are going, how far your brand is being out there. Like, how aware are people about, how aware are these people about your brand? Like, you need to do competitive analysis, or competitor analysis. Like, how are your competitors doing? I mean, you will need to know, are they, what are their strongholds? What are their weaknesses, you know?
brand,
so that you can actually do that in reverse for your brand to be better than them. Yeah, so that's why analytics are better, especially with Twitter, because most brands are onto Twitter for that digital awareness. Most elites, the elite group is on Twitter. So
those are the ones we usually find on Twitter.
Exactly.
Yes, and we do believe actually these are the corporate owners, people who are like business owners, people who employ actually most of Ugandans for that matter. So this information is very important for them to make sense of it. Like, what are people saying about their products?
Yeah.
Are the adverts working? Is the return on investment worthwhile? Because as they're investing in marketing, you also have to see, okay, if we invest maybe 20 millions in social media influencers and giving them money to influence, is this trend working? Are there an increase in numbers? Are there an increase in clicks and views? And those clicks and views, are they translating into actual sales and things like that? So it's data analytics. So the beauty with the social media, these companies, these platforms are able to simplify the logarithms, the mathematics behind all that, and just kind of just display it for you. So for small business owners like us, it becomes a very easy pick.
So for usually what they call them here in Uganda, it's omuntu wa wansi.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
omuntu wa wansi can actually use social media to actually market their goods or not?
Social media doesn't actually it doesn't actually discriminate amongst the classes. You can fit anywhere, and your business can actually shine on any platform. You just need to know how to use it, what is your target audience, and how good your brand is. Because if your brand is not that good, then people will not go for it. However much you know how to use social media and all, it starts with what you do. What is your target market? What do they want? What is the feedback? Now that is where you go back to the research methods you use on social media.
Yeah.
One of it being the feedback, because if you don't get feedback from your customers, you cannot know what exactly happens. So as long as you can monitor feedback on these platforms using the digital media, because it gives you insights there and then. You know if someone is happy about the brand, about the product, about the service there and then. So as long as you know that as a business owner, you're good to go.
Okay, so for research purposes, if we are to know how reliable it is, because there are some sites you actually go to and you say, whatever I'm going to search there is actually reliable information. So how do people that use social media actually make sure this data they get from wherever they do on social media, on any of the sites, because there are many, it's not one. How reliable is that for anybody who is doing research?
So, of course, the internet, sometimes they call it, it's a sort of a landfill of information. There's all sorts of information. So somebody has to be able to filter it. And you are right to ask, how reliable is this information? Now, one of the elements of social media, as all of us we know, is that it is real-time interaction. It is not like you were away and yes, and happened. So these are not imaginary people. People actually on there. So you are collecting real data. Now, for businesses, this is like like when you post something, if you post your product or you start a campaign on social media, it is the first stage of research. You are collecting data. You are collecting data. Now, when people are interacting with your products, you know that actually by checking the posts and the opinions about the product, you can tell somebody uses the product.
First look at the comments before you actually look at the product.
It's quite reliable, because if somebody is not talking about maybe Smart24, you know that is not your customer. I mean, you have to go in the areas where people are discussing actually your brand, your product, so you know actually these are real-time feedbacks.
Yes.
So it is pretty much reliable, but the only way it makes sense, in my opinion, is if actually you had a target in the first place, like Benjamin said. You need to know, what are you trying? Are you trying to increase sales? Are you trying to just create popularity for your product? You need to start at that point. Then that information becomes meaningful to you as by that particular target. Otherwise,
however, to add to his point, it's brands need to actually be very careful considering the information that they pick out, or even the clients, because we very well know that not all of us live what would be on social media. You will find someone is so hungry on social media, but then they are satisfied outside social media. So brands need to actually know that there should be a quality filter. Not everything out there is actually right. However, there are certain tools that you can use to actually follow up on the trend. Actually use the trend. If you want to know whether your product is doing well out there, or actually this product is good as a customer, you just follow the trend, as you said. Maybe you go through the comments, you go through who is talking about it, you search about the product, you know, who is talking about this, what are they saying? I mean, what is the mileage of this product? Is it working out there or not? I mean, it gives you the right insight there and then, as I say here.
Okay, so if we look at social media in the economic angle of the country itself, does it add economically to the country, or it doesn't add anything?
Wow, I think that is obvious. I mean, Benjamin here is a social media influencer. I mean, that has become a career in its own self. I mean, people are being employed, and these people are expensive, actually, if you ask me. So it's professional work now. In universities, we're starting to see degrees and diplomas in digital marketing.
Yes.
So it is a thing, actually.
It is.
Now, on the other hand, I know for a fact that actually social media is part of what you call the creative destruction process in business, whereby it's a new invention. It has not always been, we have not always done business this way, but now, given also that in COVID, a lot of businesses moved their activities online. So there was a bit of a shift in the trend. So as a matter of fact, now it has become paramount for every business to have a social media page, department and page. You need social media managers and digital marketers and in your departments. So as a result, businesses are doing better. They're able to survive through certain stages. They're becoming more efficient. And as a result, we are seeing even small companies actually coming up. You know, our economists say that in Uganda depends so much on small-scale businesses. And small-scale businesses are not big on capital, in a sense. So platforms like social media actually boost them.
More than TV
and adverts. So indeed, social media actually has a major contribution. That's just one of the ways, but there are so many other ways. Yeah, I'll just let Benjamin hit on that.
To wrap it up,
yes.
If at all social media really boosts the economy, you will ask yourself, why is URA interested in social media? Why is there
Why did
OTT?
they even put OTT back
I mean,
in the day?
why are they trying to tax the little money, by the at least little money that we get, the influencers of the app? Why are they trying to find all the avenues to scoop? I mean, that one should show you that we not only there for fun, but actually we can as well. As we earn, we actually build the economy. We spend, we buy stuff, we pay indirectly or direct taxes. I mean, so it really helps.
So maybe the other thing, also you find that people now there are new trends which have been invented because of social media. People are able to work from home. People are able to run.
A lot of them.
People are able to run something called e-commerce businesses.
Yes,
You know, you can actually work with Amazon. You can work with Jumia. You can work with all those brands independently as an individual. So you can literally. Social media has led to the invention of all sorts of new businesses and business models. If you ask maybe experts from URA, they will tell you actually they are noticing a trend. The economy is boosting because now we're able to work across borders. I mean, people are here, but you're selling products to people in Kenya, in USA, and you're able to market. And even the government is in on it because now you find that government agencies like the National Wildlife.
Yes.
So
Wildlife is being promoted on social media.
Being
a lot.
promoted on social media. Then I believe all government businesses are also benefit from this. So when you combine the private sector and the government, how much we use on social media, I do believe actually the economy is being affected in a positive way.
Yes.
With social media.
No negative, whatever.
Of course they are negative. Of course they are
Negative.
Well, social media usually spreads wrong rumors. You can find they tell you Charlotte is dead today on social media and it trends everywhere. And before you know it, Charlotte goes on her page, she says, guys, I'm still alive, I'm not dead. So usually social media does with the wrong rumors most of the time.
That is why I talked about the quality filter.
Yes.
You need to know what exactly to pick from
and what to leave.
And who to trust, who not to trust. I mean, you have your phone or your laptop or whatever you're using, but you need to know whom do you need to trust.
Yeah.
I mean, who gives the reliable information? Who has first-hand information? Who doesn't have the first-hand information? Because everyone will talk about anything. Someone will say maybe this has happened, there's an accident here and there's an accident because people are there for engagement or they want to grow their accounts or something like that. So, I mean, it's a round thing.
Maybe if I may add to that also.
Okay.
Actually, Benjamin's right. As a media influencer, of course, he would know better about how to use those filters. The thing is, social media has its own fair share of drawbacks. You know, when you're marketing with it. One, you do not own those logarithms, so they have their own private terms and conditions.
Yes.
And then, of course, if you're marketing, your brand is out there on social media. It means that your competitors are able to see everything you're doing. So they're able to read into your plan and your strategies. That is a bit disadvantageous.
Yeah.
Before. Marketing strategies would be a
something done
guarded
inside,
secret,
yes,
you know.
yes,
So, but now somebody can observe and see what the company is doing, and then if they're
they would actually copy.
they will copy. There's that. Then there's something about hate speech. Actually, I think it's a connection to what Benjamin was saying. That sometimes people are not giving their honest opinion; they're just maybe
being
going
biased.
here. So there's a sort of mob effect with social media. So there's that landslide effect. If something is trending, people just keep each person throwing in their opinion. So it is paramount that actually it's important to have an expert in-house when you're using social media who can actually filter through this data and make sense of it. Then also these social media companies, I think in the US, we have had several times Congress inviting some of these people to explain certain things. The thing is, there's a lot of data trading, like they sell your information, you know, and they keep several data points on you. They keep collecting data, even where you didn't give them access, they can access. And at some point, they're at liberty, if you didn't read through their terms and conditions, they're at liberty actually to sell information to another better buyer. So, and that is the whole other section. I do believe actually Uganda now has something called the Cyber Security Division. And I think they have a lot of work to do on that because it's going to become a big problem pretty soon.
Well, of course, thank you so much, Alex and Benji. And anyone who's just joining us right now, I'm joined with Benji, a social media influencer, and of course Alex, who is a cartoonist. He makes cartoons and he's a Ugandan. So we are going to take a very short break. Of course, we'll be right back.
Smart 24, driving business.
Fred!
Osmosis.
Freddy! Fred Dollar! My boss, CEO Inojo, the general of generals, the conqueror of conquerors, the first and the final, the sky above the skies, the promised land, the terms and the conditions, the international king crocodile, the source of the Nile.
I don't have money today.
Just take a polite loan of 200k to stock my shop. The signs and symptoms of success. The bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hassle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're sorting. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
These holidays, you don't need to go far to find the best entertainment.
Have I got a surprise for you?
All you need to do is stay connected to DSTV.
I'm so excited.
Pick your moment of fun and share it with your family.
Oh, let's go, just
Overpowering.
Pass the keeper, Jude Bellingham.
Pick the best stories and share them with your friends.
Max Verstappen wins.
Pick your moment to shine with the world's hottest stars.
Juventus get their goal. Alert!
Because it's your moment to hang out with the characters you love.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
Whether you're at home or on the move, make it a holiday to remember.
This is the final round. Ain't gonna stop me now.
Because these holidays, it's your moment to enjoy the best entertainment. So get and stay connected to DSTV to enjoy every moment.
Luxury redefined at Seasan Hotel as you indulge in the splendor of elegant living fit for the royalty that you are. Step into comfort, pampering and blissful customer-centric service as you select from our range of comfy, exquisite living quarters furnished to meet with your royal preference. Surrounded by scenic beauty, our tropical setting allows you to escape the glamorous ordeal of city life. Our ambient green gardens will guide you to a place of revitalizing rest. The 3-star restaurant caters to your palate, serving your choice menu ranging from exotic cuisines to local delicacies. Our chefs will serve you full-course meals for a truly out-of-this-world culinary experience. Our fully stocked bar to whet your throat, from renowned global brand whisks, brandies, gins, beers and wines to our locally celebrated beverages, you will not lack for any brew age. It's an all-new experience in the East at Seasan Hotel. So visit today at plot 15 to 19 Spire Road, Ginger, or contact us on +256 751 719 960 and +256 785 354 614 for reservations. Seasan Hotels, luxury redefined.
Smart 24, driving business.
Welcome back from that short break. Of course, we are still talking about social media and how it's influencing the market, the research, and how reliable it is. But of course, I'm joined with Musisi Alex, a lecturer and a cartoon mentor, and of course, Aguma Benjamin, also a social media influencer and economist. So people don't have jobs that are in one place nowadays. They're all over the place. But of course, here and there, social media still comes back in. So guys, before we went for the break, we were talking about how reliable the research is and everything. But I wanted to ask you, when someone says social media, is it just Facebook and Twitter, or it's bigger than that?
So I think I'll first take crack on this. So social media is it's kind of a 21st century invention, we may say. Remember, before there used to be maybe in the village there would be a way they would keep the news flowing, keep the information flowing. So now that we have this global village and we have this virtual online village, when the internet was invented back in the 80s, it didn't have things like social media. It was mostly websites for companies to advertise their platforms.
Yes.
Now, some smart individuals actually came up with the idea that how about if we used actually this network? Because the internet is about connecting computers, one computer to another. And businesses at first were using it a lot to advertise, just put up billboards and things like that. That's what websites were basically.
Billboards were very common.
Yes, they were like mobile billboards. So you just have your pages and you sort of put them up and you show your products. But now there were some individuals who were like, you know what, we could use this actually to interact. So a social media platform is not just Facebook or those are just types and examples of what it is, but it's a system, it's a virtual network where people can interact in real time. If it's not real time, it's not called social media, because socialization is about talking to the other person in relatively real time. So think of it as a virtual network, a platform which provides a virtual network a virtual platform where people can actually interact and talk in real time and communicate in real time. Sort of virtual socialization.
Yeah, interacting, communicating real time, but most especially create content and as well share, exchange ideas. Like my colleague here, Alex, is a cartoonist. I mean, you can actually draw cartoons. Like there's my favorite cartoonist. Sorry to say, Fire.
Yes.
He passes on information through cartoons. You know. Now, so you could actually use maybe WhatsApp, could be websites. You know, even a website, social media page as well. Anything, but as long as your aim is to create, share content, exchange ideas, then that in that way you're actually socializing and you're using social media.
Oh, okay.
There are those elements like social interaction. So for a platform to be considered to be a social media platform, it has to have certain characteristics in a way. So one of them, it has to be real time. Then the other, it has to have a network of people who are voluntarily actually joining it. So it is a voluntary sharing of ideas. You're giving your own opinion. And of course, it has to be having communities, it has to allow a sense of community. When you are, it's a platform, but in there, people start forming sort of community. So think of social media as a virtual community in a way. Which is,
okay. How do you navigate privacy concerns and ethical considerations when collecting and analyzing data mostly? But well, of course, here on the screens, we're seeing the rates. On YouTube, we have 38.93%, Twitter, 26.64%, and of course, Pinterest, 18.91%, Facebook, 8.24%, and Instagram 4.22%, and of course LinkedIn 2.47%. And of course you see most of the people use YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Uganda 2023 to 2024. Of course, Facebook used to be one of the most used social media platforms, but now we see it is down to 8.24%. So what's your take on these percentages?
Personally, or actually factually, why Facebook has actually witnessed that kind of drop, partially is because of the ban.
Here in our country.
Yes. We have a ban on Facebook. So illegally, those on actually it should be zero. Because we're not supposed to have anyone on Facebook. There is a total ban on Facebook. Not even any government agency is supposed to have any Facebook account running.
Yes.
But we know now, for many people who shifted from Facebook realized the importance of Twitter. Back then, Twitter was more so opinionated.
For the most educated.
But now, whatever content was from Facebook has been carried on to the new platform. That's why you see that increase on the Twitter.
26.64%.
Yeah. Then Instagram is for the high-end class.
Taking photos,
and not everyone understands the picture.
Yes.
LinkedIn. Yes. LinkedIn is strictly for jobs. Professionals. So, and not everyone has a job out there because people are looking for jobs.
Yes.
So I don't think they're actually for LinkedIn. I understand there are job opportunities on LinkedIn, but sensitization of the mass.
Most Ugandans don't know.
Most Ugandans don't know how to use LinkedIn and how to find these opportunities, because you can have your CV put up there and someone looks out for you. They can just type, I need someone who can do this and this and this, and then they bring suggestions. If they bring a suggestion and your name appears, someone can maybe DM you or they can invite you over for an interview like that. For YouTube, I think, Alex.
So, actually, from a user point of view, Instagram, I believe, is sort of linked to Facebook. I think they're owned by the same company. So whatever affects Facebook is also going to affect Instagram. So there is no surprise there. If the number is 4 and we have 8, because Instagram is now like a sister to Facebook, they are linked together. They run the same thing. So for LinkedIn, of course, it's a professional work mostly. Most people have their resumes and CVs up there, and it's most of professional people. So a lot of people in Uganda don't use it because the biggest community we have a big community of people who are like informal workers who just need to market their wares and things like that. So they're not going to be applying for jobs. So yeah, that is a bit. It makes sense. Now for Twitter. Twitter has always been presented as a platform where you have corporate social engagement, where somebody has to give an opinion nationally. But one of the reasons why business owners you want to stay on Twitter, or why we would apply and be there most of the time, you tend to access opinions from like a
person you wouldn't expect.
Who's of who. You'll find like people in high government positions and people who are like offices, experts of certain areas, giving the opinions there. So it's a nice way to keep track of what's going on in the government.
What should I
is there a new policy which they are working on, which I need to be aware about? What is URA saying about this? What is GESTA saying about this? So you find that it's a must for any business owner to be on there. So it's no surprise there for them for us to be a bit high like that. Now, when you look at Pinterest, before I talk about YouTube, when you look at Pinterest, now Pinterest, and of course when you see Twitter, Pinterest, and YouTube, these have been around for some time.
Yes.
Of course now Twitter is called X. But the thing is, for Pinterest, it has experienced a different sort of trend, and this also applies to YouTube. There's an age of some people Benjamin was referring to as content creators. Now, those two platforms are resources. They are sort of resource platforms. What do I mean by resource platforms? For Pinterest, it's a place where you go to find inspiration for art pieces, for artworks. So you find that there's a ton of graphics designers who are on there. they're not just using it to interact socially, but they're also using it to study, they're using it to do research on their work and everything. So it's the reason why actually Pinterest is picking up and it might even go high. Now, for YouTube, on the other hand, it is not just for starters, I believe on the user end, Uganda, in our media, you find that as a population, we have a majority youth, and the majority we tend to like entertainment.
Yes.
And YouTube tends to provide a niche for that. You can watch an entire video, movie. You can watch an entire song video or
and a
music
tutorial.
video and a tutorial.
Yeah.
So it's a platform which is useful. It's useful that way for creating content. Then the other thing is there are people like Benjamin. They actually these days almost every business which is in content creation, they have a YouTube channel. It's the best place which provides you enough space to actually put up content. So it's not surprising that we're using it. And of course, the VPN is also not affecting basically those ones on the top. It's most affecting Facebook.
Who is using VPN? Do you understand people so that you can call the government official?
So people
because VPN was banned. So if you talk about VPN, and there are some people so you can call the government officials.
I think there's also a misconception about VPN. See, VPN is not illegal. It is Facebook which is too illegal in Uganda. But VPN is actually a tool you use to protect yourself on the internet. It's like a sort of a filter you use to filter in order to keep yourself safe. It's like a security guard at your gate.
Speaking of security, we've been seeing cases of hacking. Many celebrities here in Uganda tend to come out and say, oh, my accounts have been hacked. Someone got my phone and actually used my accounts. Whatever post you're seeing is not mine, whether on YouTube, whether on Facebook. So the cases of hackers, is social media really that it's not safe, or it is safe? Because if we are hearing about hacking, that means whatever content you have on these pages is not safe at all.
Well, to start with, if social media isn't safe, then there is no reason as why it's there. I understand these people keep a lot of data, and the reason as to why they're still in business is because of their safety. However, I think we, the users, tend to expose ourselves to these dangers, especially as you said, now you use a VPN. Not every VPN is secure. Maybe you're using a certain network. Maybe you're on a Wi-Fi. You've exposed yourself to a hacker on the Wi-Fi who can actually access your information. So I think social media is safe if you have these safety measures in place and you actually know about them and you can actually enforce them by yourself. Otherwise, it wouldn't be there, because how much does Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, or YouTube know about you? Because you can understand how algorithm works. You just tweet through something, or you're on TikTok, you see a video, and then the next thing you know is the same video type of content is appearing on your page. So it means that these people keep a lot of information and can actually monitor it there and then and know who exactly is doing what are you watching, what are you interested in. So for security reasons, I think it starts with you, the user. If you're not secure, then your social media won't be secure. Because why are you on a random you can have a hotspot on your phone and then you see someone has connected.
Yes,
you wonder.
You don't have a password.
You wonder, if you're a hacker, then why wouldn't you be in someone's phone and you could actually do something,
So yeah, like Benjamin is saying, actually that's so true. Social media is voluntary. When you're joining it, it's voluntary.
Yes.
It's on the mandate for you to join it. So how much information you release on the internet, on social media, is directly your responsibility.
Yes.
How much do you want people to know you, or how much people? So I think sometime back, we were working on some sort of advert, but I think it was released by NITA, NITA Uganda, the organization, the government agency in charge of information and this kind of, I think this also is under them. Now, what they were saying, they realized that actually people don't know like they're not taking responsibility when it comes to their own safety, when it comes to information sharing. So they were telling people, how much do you have to share and what exactly you have to share? Do you have to even share your home address?
Most social media pages, when you post a picture, they usually show you the location where you are, and they ask you whether you want to share it or you don't want to share it.
Yes, so these are called schematics which are inbuilt because it's a requirement for these social media companies to include them. There has to be a consensus for the user how much data they are willing to avail. So there will be several prompts which ask you whether you are willing to share with the public or with all of your friends. You have seen some of this. Are you willing to share this information?
Yes.
Are you willing to let even the devices these days, they ask you permission to access your photos, to access everything. So people see all these get lines, these gateways. And some people just don't think so much about it. They just keep clicking yes, okay. But before you click okay, it is paramount. It's the personal responsibility, really. And of course, the government has to, draw programs to teach people about social media because now it's here to stay. It's a tool. We all need it. We use it in different ways. So it has become a national responsibility to actually teach people how to use social media properly.
Yeah.
Because for us, business, we are cautious. It's business. But socially, it might be a different story altogether. So people need to be told, I believe.
Okay, speaking of yes, the clicking you're talking about. So we've seen usually when you're joining a social media page, for example, TikTok, Facebook, or any other, usually there are some guidelines they usually give you, then the terms and conditions. People never read. They usually just say yes and go ahead. Yes. So at the end of the day, we've seen a platform like TikTok. Usually people come out and say, I've been banned because they're not following the community guidelines. People on social media, most of them, are they ethical or they just tend to just do what they feel they want to do?
There's a lot to say about ethics.
Choosing what to do is relative. But I think not reading, first of all, those guidelines. There could be 1 out of every 10 Ugandans that read those guidelines, not even for the least thing, maybe you're shopping or something.
2.1 do.
I mean,
2.1%.
not everyone does. But if you cannot actually follow the simplest thing, then I think you're unethical. And so you're actually prone to all these things. Actually prone to viruses, prone to being banned. You're actually prone to have those shadow bans. Maybe your account being pulled down, your business not doing well, because you cannot even know, what works on which social media. You cannot follow up on when to post, because as a brand, you need to know if I'm to follow like the analytics we talked about. You need to know that this social media page has analytics. So if I follow my analytics, when are my target audiences online? When do I receive the best feedback? When do I get the lowest feedback? Because knowing the best is not just enough. But you need to as well know your lowest points. That maybe when I post in the morning as a brand, it doesn't work out for my brand. I post in the afternoon.
It is better.
Brand, yeah. And you could find, if you read through these guidelines, or if you go and actually read through these helping things, that Twitter maybe provides, TikTok provides. Yes. That when you follow how your account is doing, you will know that my account
this is actually what I have to do.
It has to be done.
So, child ethics. If we talk about ethics, as a lecturer, we teaching visual effects and things like that, we know that our students are going to end up working in most of these platforms. So we discuss a lot about ethics. Now, ethics is about doing what is right. It's about moral, because morals, there's a saying which says that morals are not a trend. They're just a standard. They're standard. So ethics is about doing what is right. Now, how do you know what is right? They'll give you the 10 Commandments. I mean, that is the standard.
Yes.
So what is right in Uganda is the Constitution. That's the standard. Then that's why there are terms and conditions on social media. Every social media owner or platform, they have terms and conditions. That is the law of social media. So they are the standards. So what ethics become about whether you are following those or you're not following those. It means when you break them, you're not being ethical.
Yeah.
When you follow them, you're being ethical. Now, when the internet was being taken online, when it was back in the 80s, 70s, 80s, when it was being invented, it was one of the key factors they were counting on was ethical use. And of course, internet began out as an academia system. It didn't begin out as social media. They never intended it for social media, really. That is an invention which came along the way. It was pretty much a university sort of system at the army. They were using it, but basically to share information and documents. Then eventually it went to private. And because private, of course, private people, we want to make money. So we took it that way. So one of the things they were so much relying on was the ethical use, that people genuinely actually use the internet what was meant for. Of course, now things are different. There's hate speech, people are attacking. And all that.
So much of that.
There's violence, there's tribalism, there's all sorts of things. Social media is good.
This one is from this party, this one is from this party, so I can't follow them.
So there's no political party which is actually refused to use social media, but as long as you're not using it to hurt anybody, that is considered ethical. If you go onto somebody's page and they say this platform is about this, it's about discussing business, then you are announcing dead people on it, or you are talking about politics, you are not being ethical. Yes, so terms and conditions. Go.
Basically, like the least you could do as a social media person, like things to do with informed consent, like how transparent are you? Okay, for example, someone picks your picture and then chooses to do something with your picture. My picture is my data.
True.
Yeah. So how you use my data actually affects how I live on social media.
Yes.
You could actually use maybe my name or my profile. You go spreading false information. That means you're not transparent on how you are supposed to use that information. Did you actually seek the consent from me on how to use this, or from the brand, or somehow like like the content creators? Someone maybe takes a picture or makes a video and then someone takes their logo out. These ethical inconsiderations on social media is actually so up there.
So actually, if I may say this, Benjamin, that kind of brings us to my idea. To my mind. So the government, maybe the cyber division now, I don't know if it's called that, I'm not sure. Somebody can correct me on that. It means that there's need to draw proper legislations and policies, and then they need to put a body in place to enforce. Because now cyber security is about actually dealing with cyber criminals, like with online criminals, people who break the law, and I think our constitution also has to be updated, because social media is changing very fast. That's the thing. It's still slippery. That's one thing maybe government tends to ignore. Right. It's slippery. We're ever inventing. We're ever coding something new. So they need to be able to keep up. Policies have to keep up. If they don't keep up, the people will find ways around it. So, but how do you work out a way to deal with these people who are breaking the law on the internet? You need enforcers. Have you ever heard of any enforcing body in Uganda? So
they could be there,
but
they're not accountable.
I have not heard of anybody being arrested.
No one is accountable.
Or prosecuted.
Usually they say we shall come for you.
Unless someone picks interest in your case. But accountability levels on social media are quite low.
You see, so because now it's a community. It's part of us. We spend time on social media. Literally, half of the population of the country, we spend time on social media. Why is the government actually getting in there? They need to be there curating, and maybe not curating, but observing and keeping people safe. It is part of their mandate.
Well, it was so good having you guys join me today here in studio. But as we conclude, I'm going to have closing remarks from you. But of course, I'll start with the social media influencer. That title I can't say statistician. Economist. So, what do you have as closing remarks for any social person there who wants to use social media to be an influencer and to make money out of it, and anything else you can say to
Closing remarks, social media influencing. First of all, everyone is an influencer.
Yes.
You can actually influence from anywhere.
How do you benefit from it?
How do you benefit is how you actually, how creative you are. Are you looking out for opportunities? Because opportunities don't look out for you. I mean, be out there, be seen, be creative, and look out for these opportunities because they really pay. And most of all, be humble and believe in God.
We've seen social media influencers after having 100,000 followers. Oh my God, I can't use a pota. I can't be seen eating shikomando.
No, I would actually do the slightest thing you can ever think about.
Yeah.
I don't mind sitting in a corridor eating food. Because
it is okay.
Because how do they see Benji eating this kind of food? How do they see Benji doing? I get from that.
Well, thank you so much, Benji. So, lecturer, cartoon mentor for media, and others.
Yes. I thank God for one thing that ever since I became a lecturer, I have gotten the chance to talk to people and influence people who are going to end up in some of the organizations and the thing. And myself, I have been in organizations and I run a small company. Now, the beauty, I usually tell my students that the beauty with social media, it is not discriminating. In other words, no matter where you come from, no matter who you are, you're able to make it big.
If you can.
If you can. And if you know, so it's not about that, if it's not about the big corporations that the only people can use it, but also you have free access. It's free access. Actually, I would request the government to actually remove the ban on Facebook so that people can actually use it properly. They can, monitor. But for small business owners, it's a chance to make use, learn. It's paramount in the 21st century for you to learn how to use digital tools to actually better yourself, because more than ever, it is easier to actually to better your life these days because you have access. That's all I can say. Learn the rules, learn the tools, respect others, and use social media for anything.
Thank you so much, Mr. Alex, and of course, Benjamin, for coming here and giving us more insight on social media. For our viewers that are just joining us now, don't forget tomorrow we're going to be here same time, 7 to 10 a.m. But of course, today is Valentine's Day. Do you have a rose in your hand yet? Do you have a gift? Or you're just a tree like me? Well, of course, it is also Lent period is starting. Today is Ash Wednesday. Those who are going to church, please pray for the country. We need those prayers. Have a blessed day. Go be productive.
Smart 24, driving